Hello, this is Ian Davila. I'm a lead adversary emulation engineer here at Tidal Cyber. I wanted to do a quick video to show how to leverage Tidal's Community Edition to research a technique for both blue and red team practitioners. So today I'm looking at Kerberoasting. This is a sub-technique that is found in MITRE ATT&CK. This is a super interesting technique that essentially allows adversaries to gain credential access by abusing the valid Kerberos ticket granted ticket, or TGT, that allows adversaries to request TGS tickets, and then they can specify the encryption algorithm. So in this case, they could choose an RC4 ticket granting service ticket that they could take offline and essentially extract the hash and collect the credential for that specific valid account that they requested for. MITRE ATT&CK, as always, they'll give you a really nice description with all the necessary information, the technical information that you need to understand in order to obviously detect and emulate the given technique. So in the community edition of the platform, we have the vendors, which is an addition that we make to the platform. Essentially, we have different types of products from different type of vendors. So in this case, we have Atomic Red Team, Attack IQ, and Scythe. So this is more aligned for the red team. So if they're interested in looking at how to emulate this specific technique, for example. And obviously, as also given by MITRE ATT&CK, they give us the groups that are leveraging this technique. So we have APT29, Fin7, this is Operation Walkout, Wizard Spider, and we also have the software that's also included by MITRE ATT&CK. So for the blue team, this is basically the detection recommendation for this specific technique. So usually it's really hard to detect on the technique level, but I really like this data component and its specific technique, because it means that it has the idea that you can detect on the technique level, and I just said that it's hard to detect on technique level, but I really like this technique because it's granular enough that will allow you to make a detection that potentially detects multiple procedures. So that's what it means by detecting on the technique level. It's essentially you're trying to detect more than one procedure at the same time, and that's usually really hard, but for this technique, it's possible. In this case, we have the Active Directory credential request, and then they have information on how to look at for specifically for the TGS that I was mentioning. So in this case, we're looking at event ID 4769 with the RC4 encryption, which is basically type 0x17. But obviously now we can dive into the analytics, which are Sigma rules at this point, and we can see there's a lot of variety here, right? And I mentioned there's only that one data component that will basically help you detect this technique, but you can see here there's many analytics. So that means that obviously there's more than one way to detect this technique, and we can maybe start off by this one because it's mentioning RC4 ticket encryption, and then this is a analytic from Sigma, so you can even it has some information here in the description, but if you're interested in diving deeper, you can actually click on it and it'll send you to the GitHub specific rule. So in this case, we're looking at it seems like we're looking at a product, so Seek. So obviously if you want to implement this analytic, you'll need to leverage the Seek product, and then obviously you need to have the logs for the Kerberos service. But in this case, we were maybe looking at the other recommendation by attack, so we can go back here and see if we can find another one that could give us that event information. So let's click on this one. It's another Kerberoasting analytic. So in this case, so there we go. We have the log source. This is a product, Windows, service security, and then it gives us the information 4769 with the ticket encryption type 0x17. So this looks a lot like what MinerTech is recommending. So essentially what this means is whenever a TTS ticket is requested, you'll see that it will produce this event. And obviously if it's requesting an RC4 encryption type, it looks malicious, but as we know, it's possible that some services might still be looking at this encryption type. So obviously you need to take account for the false positives. As it mentioned here, service accounts use legacy systems. All right, so we can if we don't feel confident enough in that in our detection, we can keep on looking at all their analytics. So in this case, we have Rubius. So this is a hack tool that it seems like it allows for Kerberoasting, right? So obviously you can click on this one again, and it also has more information on the Rubius, which is the executable, and the other type of command lines to detect this one. So we can go back to the technique, and what I like about the community edition here is that obviously you can dive into the search. So if I'm interested in looking at more information on Rubius, maybe a attack has a software entry on it. So if it had an attack entry, you would see that in the type here. But it doesn't seem that this one doesn't include the software entry for Rubius. But as we have some capabilities from the product registry, so we can start clicking on them. So if we're looking at Rubius for Kerberoasting, so let's click on this one. And we can see this one's coming from Atomic Red Team, as we would have found if we would dove into the product on the Kerberoasting tab that we first saw on the left side. So we can dive into, okay, so this is for the Red Team now. The Red Team, you can see, since this is a test capability, that helps you emulate that test for the Blue Team to detect, right? So we can start. You can dive into the information that Atomic Red Team is providing in the description, but you could also dive into the atomic test that's available in the availability notes here. So that'll get you directly to that rule, and you can start digging into the specifics on how to execute this procedure from this technique. So we can go back and we can continue doing this. Obviously, if you're a customer of Attack IQ or Scythe, you can click on it, and it'll tell you it has 3 test capabilities for this specific technique. So with Kerberoasting, you'll have 3 different types of procedures in this case, and then we can do the same for went back too much. We can do the same for Scythe. So in this case, you have 1 test capability, so you can dive into that one also and see how to execute that procedure that would allow that specific technique. So that was an example on how to leverage the data source, the data component information, analytics, and also how to pivot off different information that you've found by doing research. So that's it from my side. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much and appreciate it. See you on the next one.